Hey guys, the purpose of this video is to show you how I do entry and hollowing cuts for bowls. I've seen this described in books, but usually in a narrative format, just in text. And honestly, I found it hard to visualize and how to see just how to do it. So my intent is to help newer turners out there figure this out. I'm by no means an experienced turner, so if I do something wrong, please correct me. All right, so basically there's two steps to this process. The first thing we need to do is to make a smooth surface for our bevel to ride on as we're doing the plunge cut. And to do that, you just turn your tool with the flute facing at 3 o'clock, and with just the very tip, you make a shallow V cut in the wood, producing a nice smooth left-hand side for your bevel to ride on. Then once you have that established, you can turn the tool up so that the flute is facing 45 degrees, swing the handle so that your bevel is now fully and smoothly registered against that V that you just made, and do your plunge. A big thing to keep in mind is that the bevel determines exactly where your tool should be traveling. Imagine someone taped an arrow, like made out of a piece of wire or a pen, to the flat part of the bevel. This is where you're pointing. This is where you're going. So people talk about long bevels, short bevels, different bevel angles, and those are just different configurations for the tool, and they allow the turner to direct the tool in different directions based on where they need to be related to the depth of the bowl, the height of the walls, so on and so forth. So regardless of the tool you're using, just keep in mind that you need to be always riding the bevel, keeping this part against a nice smooth surface, going in a line that's tangent to the surface. So let's try it out. So this bowl's been flipped around. I have my center hole drilled. The surface is more or less smooth. And so first thing I'm going to do is, with the tool level, flute facing right, is make that little V cut. And actually, before I do that, I'm going to lower my tool rest just a touch. Not feeling that, a little bit too high. There we go. How's this? Better. All right, take two. So I'm going to make my V cut with just a tip. There we go. So now I have, on the left-hand side, I have a new home, a safe place for my bevel to ride. Turn, very fluid. Now these middle cuts are pretty easy. There's not a lot going on there. So there's my V, and that was again made with the flutes facing right. And now if you can see this bevel is ground to around a 45-degree angle. And I couldn't, with the tool in this position, making the V cut, I could not plunge straight in, because the line dictated by my bevel is pointing that way. So with my finger here, hopefully the guy not getting eaten by the bowl, I need to make my cut this way with the bevel. There's my V, and now when I want to plunge, I'm going to have to move my handle to the right so that that imaginary directional line goes down into the base of my bowl. Let's do a few more. Oh, okay. Here's something you might run into with maybe a hard piece of wood. Now this is a soft piece of maple. This is pretty easy to deal with. So I can kind of muscle my way through that rough spot to establish a smooth place for my bevel to ride. But if you've screwed up a few times, you've had some catches, and you find that you're just having a rough time over here, just pause for a little bit, flip your tool around, and just scrape it clean. There we go. Make things easier for yourself. Establishing or having a smooth plunge cut, in my opinion, is aided a great deal by having a tool that's not bouncing around and you not having to muscle your way through anything. So there's my V. Turn my flute. and I'm following the back line bevel to where I want it to go. So that rattling, I need to build a new lathe table. Ignore that. Towards the center, it vibrates a touch. Let's do a few more. I'm going to scrape that clean. Hit the V, establish the bevel home, and I'm just going to ride it in. There we are. And if you notice, you can hear this along the bottom. This was a nice, smooth plunge cut. Despite the chatter you might have heard from the lathe, there wasn't a lot of actual vibration going on between the tool and the wood. That's what you want out of this. If you ever see sawdust coming out of your cut, if you're pushing too hard, if it's rattling and banging all around, just stop, sharpen your gouge. That's not what you want to be seeing. Well, there it is. Hope this helps you guys out. Let me know if you have any questions. Thanks for watching.